Once again, we're dead.
Let's go, Rick. Yep. Give me a countdown, buddy.
Send me the link too, Jerome, please.
It's live, baby. 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
How did you mess up the system there?
Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning. Sorry, Darka, we forgot to tell you that you're supposed to dance during the opening song there. We're running just a little bit behind today, guys, but it's going to be worth it.
My fault.
I promise. Let me get into our podcast sponsor before we get into this, okay? Michael Reyes, RBC mortgage specialist. He has 15 years experience in the mortgage lending industry and is an expert in all things home equity. There is no less expensive route than to utilize the equity in your home. His objective is to make stressful situation like buying a home very easy and pleasant. Get ready, RJ.
Yep.
Contact him at 204-510-5709, and his phone is always on, he says. So let's see how fast he gets back to you here. So before we get moving any further, let me introduce the lady sitting over to my left who's about to sing a song for us.
No, I'm
Just
not.
joking. Can you rap?
I can actually.
Can you?
Uh-huh.
Oh, man, I would love to hear that. Today's guest is the property manager right here at McIvor Mall and several other properties in Winnipeg. This mother of 2 humans and 1 dog is also a grandmother of 3 and soon to be 4.
4. 2
4.
yesterday. Now overdue.
Could happen maybe on this podcast.
Exactly.
Is that where you're checking your phone for?
Exactly.
Okay, we'll give you that. If you get a grandchild in the next 45 minutes, you can leave. Cool. No, you can't. Just joking. When she's not working or driving, she performs as a singer in a cover band whose genre goes from rock, pop, and country from the 90s till today. Keep herself healthy. She uses natural herbal remedies, and at her age of 29,
Thanks.
never felt better than she does today. She works extremely hard during the day and at night spends her time fighting for the causes she's passionate about. And boy, is she passionate.
Oh, boy.
And has a weird habit of chugging chocolate milk right before bed and right when she gets up. Everybody, let's welcome Darka Smith. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever tried soy chocolate milk or oat chocolate milk?
Neither.
They're
Just
awesome.
Straight up chocolate milk.
So what is the chocolate milk? You make it yourself, or
No, I
like
buy
is it
it.
quick? So okay.
Yeah. I buy it in a carton.
So my wife got into drinking the soy milk, and then she buys the chocolate milk. I don't know, I guess it's a treat or something like that. Anyways, I finally got a taste of it.
Yeah.
I steal her milk constantly. She doesn't
It's
even
good.
know it. I
It
guzzle
is good.
half of that
Yeah.
thing at once.
I
I
do
don't know
like
what
the
it
soy
is.
milk. Oh, here we go. We got a response. He
From-
says he's on and he's watching. 1 minute. Thank you, Jan. Great work, my friend. So we always test our sponsors to see what kind of response rate, because all these businesses support us, but we're like, hey, listen, if we're going to be supporting you, got to actually like live and walk the walk.
Yeah.
And so we always test people.
And 100%, he's always responded.
Yeah,
within,
and
like,
we
a
did
few
this
minutes.
before
Yeah.
to him, and I
Yeah.
said, hey, bro, I got a mortgage question. And within a minute, he got back to me. Yeah, man, what's up?
Sweet.
Yeah.
And he got me my my mortgage, so when we do sell the property, we're already set up, ready to go. That happened within, 72 hours. So
Wow.
very responsive individual. Great guy to deal with, for sure.
So do you think that they are, and maybe we're kind of getting into it here, but do you think that they'll continue to drop mortgage rates, or do you think that they're going to stabilize it?
I don't know. I mean, can you drop them any lower? They're already
I
at
had,
what,
2 years
3%?
ago, my mortgage was 2.02,
Ooh.
and then it shot up to 3.04 after that was done. So
Wow.
they've been low,
I can't even remember.
I can't see it going lower. I can see it going higher.
higher.
Jan, Michael, what is my mortgage rate there, buddy? Maybe throw it in.
Jan, we
the
need to
chat
know
there.
what Rick's mortgage rate is.
Yeah.
Please put that in the comments.
Yeah.
So here's my take on it. And somebody made this a good point, is that I don't think that they are going to drop it any further, because what's going to happen is you're going to get a lot of people buying homes. They're going to go out and build a house that they can kind of afford right now because of the low mortgage rate. And then in 5 years, when they're up and they've only put 150 or 100,000 or whatever towards their house, and then the mortgage rate goes up to 3 or 4, even 1% is a huge jump on a big mortgage, and they're not going to be able to afford these homes. And that's happened quite a bit.
Yes.
Oh, and hyperinflation is on the way too.
Yeah.
You think that's going to be extreme?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So what is that?
Well, stimulus.
This
eh?
is
Free money,
this
right?
is a political chat today,
Free
right?
money. I mean, they're
Okay,
just
so-
printing money. So,
So we're all
It
going
all
to get hit
sounds
with
so
stuff.
great, but we're all going to get hit hard.
Yeah.
and
We
our
were having
kids,
that
so our
conversation.
kids.
I have a friend, and she works. She's doing all that stuff, and she's like, a lot of people right now are applying for it, and they don't qualify. Number one,
applying for what? Specific
CERB.
to what? Oh, CERB. Okay.
yeah, they're applying for CERB, and so there's people that are on CERB right now, and they're not supposed to be on it. And then, so when it comes down to tax time next year, they're going to have a
gonna
hefty
get hit.
surprise.
Mhm.
Number two, people that are supposed to be back to work, and if their employer offers them their job back, then they're supposed to go back to work, or they need to say, I quit.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right, or they come up with some excuse.
they've got to get back to work. So people that are sitting at home and they're playing the card that, like, I'm just don't feel it's safe to go back.
Yeah.
Something about the employer determines that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
So people that are sitting at home thinking that this is a free ride, and their employer's like trying to get them back on the
Well, for some of these people, they're actually getting more on CERB.
Yeah, why would they? Why
There's
who
no
would want to
incentive
go back to work?
Exactly.
That's
Right?
the challenge
Who wants
right
to
there.
go back to work?
Yeah.
And to
it's
your
an
point,
issue.
exactly. Now we want the government to pay us. We don't want to go back to work
Right.
anymore, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they like that.
Here's something that'll piss you right off. Okay, a friend of mine is in, or he knows somebody who's in the check cashing business, and a lot of his clientele don't even have addresses. So what this guy has done is taken upon himself to get these people in, figure out how to qualify them for CERB, and then he just cashes their checks.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? So
That's-
these people are already on social assistance. They're already in the system, but he has somehow figured out a way, and he's not doing anything illegal. He's actually helping the community by taking care of them.
But he's skimming those checks, isn't he?
Well, I mean, you know, he has to make a cat. I mean, just like
Doing it
Money
for
Mart, right?
Yeah, for the
Not
goodness
just a
of his
good
heart. Yeah,
Samaritan.
25%.
No, of course, he's making money.
30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But isn't that crazy? So
Yeah.
when all of this shit hits the fan, and it's finally like, okay, now you have to start repaying. You never qualified in the first place. People don't realize that. Some people don't even know that this is taxable. So
Yeah,
you
I
have
think
if
$2
you
grand is
haven't put-
$2 grand, just free money.
Yeah, and so you know what do you think taxes on $1,000 is going to be? About $200
Right.
in and around there. So if you're on there for 4 months, like you better have $2,000 aside to pay your tax bill.
If they find out your employer also tried to get you back in and you said no,
Yeah.
you might have to pay all of that back.
I know. I'd be curious to know. Hey,
Mhm.
interesting. Like what's the hard line?
Yeah.
You know, they were so easy, just writing checks, but when it all comes down, I don't know.
Oh, they'll catch up. After all is said and done, they're going to start digging in and they're going to come after everybody. Oh, you bet.
So my advice or my suggestion is, even if you know you might make a little bit less money, you may want to just go back to work. You know what I mean? But having said that, if your employer can't give you the hours because they're restricted, then I guess that's a decision you have to make. Right?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a stipulation. They're going to look at that too, where it's, you know, you originally had full-time employment and they couldn't give you full-time, so then you could stay on CERB and earn the whatever it is that you want. But if you go over the 1,000, then they'll just deduct. So let's say you make $1,200, then instead of getting $2,000 from the government, you get $18,000, or $1,800
Right.
kind of thing, right? So. I think it's a great thing that they did. I know that we're not happy with them printing money, but it just goes to show the way that the world would go if things went bad, and they took care of us, right? I mean, for businesses, they took care of the payroll, right? The wage subsidy. I mean, that's phenomenal, right?
Who's
'Cause-
paying for all that?
Yeah, but again, you know, at least if they said no, we're not giving anything, Darka, then this mall would be filled with homeless people.
But who created the problem in the first place?
But
right?
they also might just be postponing something that's going to be inevitable anyway.
That's true. That's true. But at least in the meantime, everybody's not killing each other, and everybody's not, you know, invading homes. And
They're floating. Some of them aren't doing
Yeah.
so well. Some
Yeah.
of them have already used up. Like there are different programs in that provincial one, which is I think it was a $6,000, and that's if you didn't qualify for the other
Oh,
things.
right,
You go
right.
through that in a month, 2 months in your
$6,000
business.
is
That's
nothing.
it. It doesn't
Yeah.
help really all that much.
So great job on the renovation, by the way.
Yeah.
I've never actually gotten face to
That was
face with you.
painful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you met Rick once?
I
I
think
think you asked him to
once.
move his truck or something.
Yes, I did.
And it was a whole thing. I had to mediate.
That's
I forgot about that.
no. Actually, I think it went well. I didn't even
Yeah.
realize that I was doing something wrong. That was over by No Frills, though, right?
Yeah.
So they could get the trucks in.
Because
I
we were
did
trying
park.
to find a place to park because his truck, it stands out. But we got this thing deckled, and so we're trying. You're like, hey, can he move to the? He had to move some stuff in.
So he's
And
just
then- and then-
loading it.
And then and then I think you had to go right to work or something like that.
I
We didn't
don't
really
remember.
know.
I don't know,
And
but
then-
it was parked right in the first
yeah,
row.
and then we tried to move it, and then it was in the way again, and then we're just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, for the record, I always try to park as far away towards Henderson Highway as possible.
well, if you got all the decals, you want everyone on the traffic.
Well,
on
sure.
Make
Henderson
any
to see it.
sense,
So
And then, so just so I know, so the No Frills, the two slots that are, or spaces that are sideways, different. Can I park there?
No.
No. Okay.
Who parks there? I see people parking there all the time.
I see them parking
North
wrong all
Hills
the
has
time.
a
Parked
couple
up.
staff that park there.
Okay.
Like, do they know to park sideways though? I feel like
yeah,
nobody.
they do.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
And do
yeah.
they have a sign like we have in the back?
Nope. And
They
they
need
didn't
a
ask for
sign,
one.
Darka. They need a sign.
You don't ask, I'm not doing
These
it.
new signs are nice. So just so everybody knows, Darka is our property manager
Yeah.
here. And when I came in here, I wanted to have a clean slate with the people that are running kind of like the buildings, right? So we came from a basement. I don't know if you know the starts of my business, but we were working out of Chief Peguis, which is just around the corner. City ran gym. there was like rules, but there was no restrictions. There was, you know what I mean? It was just, there was just nothing that was concrete. Can I be here? Can't I be here? How big can we be? What is the, all these weird things.
Vague.
And it was just just towards the end of it, it just became a bad relationship. And I always try to have a good relationship with the manager. Like we went through so many managers out of like that city of Winnipeg, but the last relationship was kind of like the final straw, and they were trying to like run our show. And then we came here, and so I just want to have a good start. And like you and I, we clicked right away. And I think that we came a long ways, meaning like this mall was empty, pretty
Yeah,
much.
it had
Like
a lot of
very
vacancies.
old,
It was old,
very
dated.
old, and it looked old. Like you know what I mean? And so
How long have you been taking care of this mall?
4 years now.
4 years.
Yeah.
And how old is
that's
this
it,
mall?
eh?
Oh my gosh.
So you started when we came here?
2016.
That's
Yeah.
when we came here.
Yeah,
June.
April.
Yeah. Well,
April,
the
May, June.
owner that bought this property bought it in May 2016,
Oh, okay.
and then
Yeah.
Yeah, I
they
think
took
it changed
over.
hands. No, it didn't.
It was
They were the
built-
owners here. They were the owners because
I
I
don't know.
remember.
It was built by Mar West. They had owned
Mm.
it a long time ago. I honestly, I want to say it's probably like the 70s or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, definitely, it was a dated mall.
Very.
You know,
Yeah.
two years ago.
Everything was
Yeah.
original.
Okay.
Pretty
And
much.
then we survived through all the renovations. That was fun.
Yeah, renovations are a lot of fun, and this one was a big one because it was not just inside; it was outside. It was every
Yeah.
nook and cranny
Yeah.
in here.
What were some of the bigger challenges you had to deal with that you didn't expect before you started doing this with this mall particularly?
With this mall in particular.
Contractors.
Yeah,
Like the usual stuff is
Yeah.
the usual stuff, but was there anything that was like, holy shit, I didn't know this was going to happen here?
it's really important that the contractor, the GC that's handling and doing all of the looking after all the sub trades and everything, that there's good communication, and that's so important because when the tenants don't know what's going on, or we have to redirect traffic, we got to close that entrance, and everybody's got to go over here, and if they don't tell me these things, because I'm the middle person, so I got to be the one to deliver the message and then make up notices and put up signs and order signs for the fencing, and it was like bonkers because I wasn't getting that communication in the beginning, and then the company fired that fella, and then we got another guy, and he was just awesome, and then
What's his
everything
name?
was
Bob?
smooth. Yes.
Oh, I miss Bob. You
Oh,
remember
I
Bob?
miss him
I
too.
don't know.
He's you would never
everybody
know
was
that this
set up in
guy's-
that one
yeah,
office,
He
right?
doesn't talk, and then when you talk to him, he kind of like cracks a little joke,
Yeah.
and you're
Yeah.
like, was that a joke, Bob? He's
He's-
one of those guys.
Yeah.
So good,
Yeah.
and he just
So
like turned
nice.
everything around like 100%,
Which you
and
wouldn't
everything went
think.
smooth after that.
You
That's-
wouldn't think he
yeah.
doesn't talk.
So just the
He's-
communication
he's not a,
fixed
Huge.
He's not a director like, "Arr," he doesn't
Yeah.
he doesn't command presence.
Yeah.
Right.
But he created order,
Right.
which is key.
So since you've been and you've been doing this for a number of years, property man, or are you just
Myself, I've been doing property management, not with this particular company for the whole time, but for the last 17 years.
is that commercial, residential,
I
both?
started off condo,
Okay.
and then I did residential for
Yeah.
a number of years, and then I've been doing just commercial. But because I have experience in all three, I kind of oversee the residential and condo in our company right now and give
Okay.
them assistance. And
Well,
consult.
they're lucky to have you.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
think that.
Yeah.
I think they're lucky too.
What is the future of malls, in your opinion?
Boy,
Will
that's-
they exist?
That's tough.
Like it's all about online shopping.
You know-
Everybody, you see all of
Yeah.
these, like the J.C.
Well,
Penney
this is
just went
it.
to bankruptcy.
Amazon. I
Really?
mean, Bezos is making a killing off this whole pandemic,
Yep.
and people develop new habits.
Yes.
Maybe people that never online shop before, now they had to, and now like, this is really cool. This stuff gets
Yeah.
delivered to my door. Like I don't need to go out and deal with parking and germs and people in the mall and
Restrictions.
Oh my God. Right.
You got it.
So
Yeah.
they form new habits, and unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get back to where we were.
You don't
And
think
I
so?
don't even like that term, the new normal. That
Yeah.
infuriates me and fills me with rage,
Yeah.
because this has been foisted upon us, and you've made this situation,
Yes.
and now you've created it,
Stay
and you're
home.
making us, you're making
Yeah.
us go along with it,
Yeah.
and everybody is, and that's it's kind of hard to go against the grain, right? When
Yeah.
everyone else is doing it. But when it comes to the businesses, they're suffering. The smaller ones will shut down. They will go bankrupt. If they're already on the brink. There are already a number of restaurants that are on the brink of shutting down and permanently closing. We've already seen in the news some that were, relationships between landlords, and they still have to get paid rent. But, the tenants aren't making any money. Like it's
Yeah, what are you
chain
doing?
reaction, right? So So it's very difficult, and the government really hasn't done a heck of a lot that way, particularly with landlords with large properties.
Yeah.
They got no relief. Okay, so I know there's some program out there that says, well, landlords can pay 25%
Yeah.
of
So
the
what is
tenants'
that?
rent.
What is that about? Because we hear it from the tenant standpoint, but we don't hear it from
Well, it's
the
voluntary
land
for
ser-
one thing, and
Yeah.
I know very few owners and
Most people have said no.
are not
Yeah.
doing it.
So what is the program? Just so our audience
So what
has a
it
better
is
understanding.
originally, because everything just kind of was fluid and kept changing. Originally, they were going to do the government was going to pay 50% of the base rent for a tenant,
Okay.
and then the tenant would pay 25%, and then landlord would pitch in the 25%.
Okay.
And then I guess nobody was going to jump on board with that, and then they changed it to the gross whole amount of rent. And when I say gross, that's the additional rent, your common costs and stuff like that. So now they're including that as well. So but when you think about it, that's only for April, May, June, and that particularly for hair salons, gyms like yourself, that were completely mandated to close, could not, like some restaurants can do takeout, and delivery. They were able to survive through those through that April and May period. But even with the restrictions that are being lifted slowly now, it's slow. Like I just read this morning in BC that it's been 2 weeks since they've had their restrictions lifted, and the restaurants are now having dining inside, kind of like here, and they're half capacity. And at first, people were coming out, and now they're not. Like they're just not.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh my God, is this how it's going to be? So it's so hard because we can't even take a past event to measure again, what happened then and what can we expect now. This is like all new territory.
Yeah. It's one of the things that I'm concerned with is everybody's excited for it to be open, but everybody still thinks it's going back to normal.
Yeah.
You wait until you have to wait in line for 30 minutes to buy something. Wait until you have to come and deal with the things that like we're imposed. We're going to have to impose on you because you're imposing on us. Like I just read something about Good Life Fitness where their
appointments.
You have to make it, and there's all kinds of stipulations. So if you miss an appointment, you get flagged and you're not allowed to come back anymore. You have to make the appointment X amount of days.
You get an hour.
An
in
hour.
the gym, so
an hour
no
to be
selfies.
So if you
no
show
showers.
up late, you get 15 minutes or whatever.
Come dressed.
Yeah, come dressed. Yeah. So people are going to get very frustrated with that, and they're just going to say, "Screw it! I'm just going back to staying at home until this passes over." So businesses that are trying to get back still aren't going to.
No.
And you're going to be dealing, and this is one of the things that I already saw with one of these. What do you call companies that sell like plants and flowers and rocks, landscaping? What do you call those places? Like a nursery, something like that?
Yeah.
There was a one in Winnipeg that actually shut their doors. They just couldn't handle the disrespect from the clients. They said, "Forget it. You're going to treat us like this. We don't even want to do business yet." So
Wow.
it's going to be a challenge for everybody moving forward. And like I keep saying, it's going to be patience.
But how long does a business have? Can they wait a year or
I
two?
know.
Yeah, you can ask your customers to be
know.
patient. Everybody can be patient, but you're right. Like, how long can you go with half capacity?
Yeah.
Because gyms like Good Life are built around volume. They sell 5,000 memberships before they open their doors.
Yeah, of course.
So how are they going to get 5,000 members in there
Right.
if they can only book an hour? They're only allowed, half capacity or 6 feet distance, and you know what I mean.
And they're different. That's a whole different monster than us. Like I feel like those guys are such huge corporations that they'll be fine. But the smaller guys, like us, that we kind of have to be open and we got to keep working. It's really going to kick the shit out of us.
But I don't know because is that the truth?
I don't know.
Big corporations.
Big corporations they'll consolidate. They'll downsize a bit because at the end of the day they still got to make a certain profit for their shareholders and everyone, right?
Well, let me ask you this. So let's just say how there's an anchor tenant in every mall. Okay, if they say we're not paying rent, what do you as a property manager say?
Well, anchor tenants generally are super like stores like that were able to be open. And they're the ones that have done extremely well.
Yes.
Are the grocery stores.
Yeah.
So that hasn't really been an issue unless you're talking like Polo Park where you have a Sears or a Bay or something like that. And they don't pay rent. Holy, like you could lose the owner could lose that mall.
Yeah.
Because they generally have mortgage payments. They have their own lenders and financing and. People think that landlords are just raking in the bucks, pulling in the rent. But at the end of the day, particularly, like, for example, McIvor Mall, all of these renovations were financed. These owners aren't actually taking home anything and putting them in their pocket. Yeah. Anything that comes off the base rent is going to pay for the financing that did all this or whatever their mortgages are. And they're huge. Yeah. And with this COVID thing, they've zero relief on mortgage. Regular residential homeowners can get mortgage deferrals. Well, not in commercial or at all.
So do you think that it needs to come from the banks The banks. Like,
Yeah, that'll ever happen.
Yeah, I know. So, but that's kind of where it seems where the bottleneck is,
Yeah,
right?
so
It's
who's-
coming from up top.
Well, exactly.
Where's this money coming from?
Yeah.
And they just need to chill out. Like, just take the money that's owed versus take the money that's owed plus a point. Like, just cut the points.
Well,
Would you say
Like,
that
is that
banks
hard
are,
to do?
Do you
I
think
don't
they're
know.
predatory right now with the way that they have it? So yeah, great, you can defer your mortgage, but you're paying it on the back end.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can't-
totally.
so
You're
terrible.
paying more interest, or you're changing you're still you're not ahead at all.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah.
So do you think that they're being unfair? Do you think that their habits are in fact predatory? That they're taking advantage of people who are down and out? Would you say that that's?
Yeah,
Would you
I
say
would
that?
say that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would say that too. I mean, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, these banks are, like I invest in the stock markets, I pay attention to this kind of stuff. They're doing, $250 million every quarter. You're
Mhm.
making a ton of money, right? They're always the anchor tenants in every mall, every commercial space. You'd almost say to yourself, why can't you just give me the break? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Especially
right.
a situation, you're not going to do this often. This is going to
Yeah.
be maybe a once in a lifetime thing. But why not just come out as that person? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that everybody can survive because all of our money goes through you guys.
Yeah.
Really,
Mhm.
it does, right?
Have the banks taken any hits in their stock markets?
No. Well, they did right at the when the whole stock market crashed, but everybody has bounced back. Yeah. So I don't see them suffering at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. This is gonna be a
Well,
tough one.
That's a whole other subject. Banks printing money.
It
You know.
is. So Darka, we're just starting to get you fired up,
Mhm.
and I hear that you're quite the firecracker. So one of the things that you are passionate about certain causes. It was even in your bio there.
Corruption,
Corruption in what way? Specific
government
to what?
corruption, in cahoots with corporations,
Okay.
and they make policies that are not in our best interest whatsoever, but
Mhm.
serve the interests of the.
So give me one that
corporations.
really pisses you off. Like what's something that's
Oh, jeez.
and I mean I guess to COVID is probably something that really you're talking about, right?
That's huge.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, would you say these payments that we're all receiving? I mean, I kind of talked about it off camera there. That's going to be, we're going to have to pay it back.
Well, yeah.
Everybody's qualifying for it.
Stimulus is funny. People think, oh, it's just like, feds are giving us all this money, trillions of dollars. Well,
Mhm.
that's debt.
Yep.
That's debt. We have to pay that back. It's not helping us.
Yeah.
It's not helping our children or our grandchildren. This is going to go on for a long time.
Yeah.
But going back to this whole COVID thing, and I've been very vocal about this,
Mhm.
and I've right from day one, they followed a script. And I refer to it as a script because they went on the basis of what was being recommended to them from Ferguson from the Imperial College of London, who made up some ridiculous model
Yeah. Very inflated. numbers.
and has a history of being astronomically wrong in every other thing he's ever done. Why did we ever listen to this person? But
Yeah.
what got me was that they did it in the UK, they did it in Canada, they did it in all of these G7 countries, like everywhere. Like one size fits all. We're just all going to do this, and this is how we're going to. And it just seemed like such bull.
Yeah.
Say the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I could just say bullshit. It was bullshit.
Yeah.
And of course, they got the media, which is the long arm of the government. They
Mhm.
just keep repeating and pushing the same agenda that they were promoting,
Mhm.
and then everybody just falls in line.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, we're actually what everyone was doing was actually the opposite of what we should have been doing. We should not have been isolating ourselves. We should have been communicating. We should not even be social distancing. I
Yeah.
know that a lot of people might not agree with me on this, but there's no science behind any of that.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, you need to be outside. And it's funny because I saw an article not that long ago about how they're discovering that the people that are coming in that are testing positive and that are sick have been isolating. They're the ones, like more than 60% of them were all like self-quarantining themselves. Those are the ones. It's not the people that are going out and working
Mhm.
that are getting out and mixing and mingling with other people and just being out in the environment or
Building
being outside.
their immune
It's the
systems.
people that were staying inside. Those are the ones that are making up the most big proportion of being people that are sick.
Mhm.
So, to know anything about health, if you know anything about immune health, and this is funny because when this all started, I knew nothing about immune health. And then when I dug in and I researched the heck out of this, and I started taking vitamin C and vitamin D3 and zinc in December,
Ignition?
January.
Okay.
This is the first flu season, that I've not been sick in as far back as I can remember.
Mhm.
And that was the only thing that I did differently.
Mhm.
And how many
Supplements.
times have you heard that in the media? to do that. So when they tell you that they're looking out for
they
your
tell
best,
you to
no,
wash your hands.
yeah, wash your hands a
use
gazillion times a day.
alcohol.
Take 6 feet.
Yeah,
and
touch
there's
nothing.
right. And meanwhile, if you
Don't even wear white. I saw one in one post.
but the masks.
What?
Like that's insane. Like that's so unhealthy, and they don't work, and they're not meant for like they can't protect you from virus transmission. So, and I can go on and on about that, but it's just an example of everything that they've dictated to us as far as policy goes to what flatten the curve, which was only supposed to be in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
It was actually the wrong thing to do. We did everything wrong.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, there's going to be a second wave where it's a self-fulfilling prophecy because we've done everything wrong from the beginning. And I think that in a few years, we're going to look back on this, and this is just going to be a very shameful thing that was done.
Isn't it amazing that this message shut down the whole world? Like, do you truly feel, and this is going to sound very conspiracy theorist, but whatever, that we are in fact a free people? Considering that one message gets put out there and the whole world reacted to it in the same way, we are literally controlled by the government and media.
The media.
You know what I mean? And even those of us
so
who battle against it. And I feel like there's a lot of darkers in the world. Many won't speak out because I know...
You're right.
Yeah, and...
I have people actually email me stuff that they want me to share because they're too scared to share it themselves.
Me too. Once you take that hard line, I mean, you're going to get shit on by people.
Absolutely.
And I've never been shit on more than I have through this pandemic, but I've gotten so much more support. And I really feel that people like us need to share the message a little bit more.
Absolutely.
And this is why I keep guys around, like Rick around. You know what I mean? I still got a business to run, so they could dump on it.
Yeah, come after me.
It's the first line of defense.
Yeah, exactly.
Ease my social distancing.
So I appreciate you coming on here and putting it out there because it takes a lot of courage to do it. And
what is the okay? You know, I'm in the same boat. This is the first year in October. In November, I had to go back coaching. And I was like, okay, if I got to go back to coach, I got to really take care of myself. So I started sleeping earlier, waking up earlier. I started drinking way more water. I started taking preventative measures from getting sick, keeping my immune system, like not over fatiguing myself, not taking days off when I need, like, because I push my body, right? And I started taking natural supplements such as echinacea. I just stopped taking them because now it's summertime, right?
Right.
But
and when you say summertime, why?
Just
because you're outside more?
Just because
Getting
of the
sun?
warmth, yeah. And I'm
Vitamin D.
I don't like getting that breeze, and vitamin D. I stopped taking it too, just because I make sure I get exposure to sunlight. And so what are your recommendations? How should as soon as this virus hit, you don't think that we should have social distancing?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so what are the steps that you think that should have happened then?
The steps that should have happened was, of course, anyone that is sick, you got a cough, you feel you should be staying at home.
Regardless, even if there's a coronavirus.
Regardless, just stay home.
Okay.
The elderly and the vulnerable should be protected.
Okay.
You know, we need to when there's a flu influenza pandemic going on or anything, you would have to be careful in old folks' homes and in hospitals and whatever. But I don't think people understand and realize that we actually have a lot of trillions of viruses and bacteria that are within our microbiome and everything. Your immune system needs to have that kind of engagement with other bacteria and viruses and germs and stuff, because that's what keeps it practiced and revving. And it's like, and this is part of the natural environment. When you isolate yourself and you prevent any kind of other germ, I touch your hand, none of that communication is happening between you and I as far as our germs and viruses and whatever, then it starts to go down. It's like, oh, I don't have to do anything. And it becomes like a lazy immune system and it becomes weak. Yeah. So the less we touch, the less we hug, the less we communicate and stand close to each other and do all of these things, we're actually going to make ourselves more sick. Yeah. You need to build up your immune system by being exposed to those things. Like there's an awesome George Carlin video about germs. It's amazing. And it is. People tell you that. Let your kids play in dirt. If you have a child that's so sterilized that they're living in a bubble, they're going to get sick the moment they step outside.
And allergic to everything.
But that's science. Yeah. Okay. But telling everybody to stay inside and avoid everybody and don't touch and stay 6 feet apart, that's just ass backwards. Yeah. It's ass backwards what we should do.
So how did we get to the point where we're doing everything ass backwards? We know science exists. I think everybody knows your point and certainly agrees with it. How is it that we have been shut down?
Well, we had a media pump 24/7 about how many people were dying, and they had that little red ticker, and there's all these deaths. And this is a whole other subject. I mean, I can get into how the testing is done, the PCR, and what a joke it is.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Tell
what the
us.
numbers are an absolute farce. So everyone's looking at these numbers. And, oh my God, if I go outside, I've had people say to me, "Oh my God, I'm so scared to go out. I might kill somebody." Look, you get in your car and you start driving, you might kill somebody by accident. You might as well just stop living. Period. I mean, it's the mentality was just unbelievable, and it's going to take a long time for people to snap out of that. You know, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's going to be the hardest part with businesses.
Yeah.
Me personally, I went shopping yesterday. I went to the mall, and I hated it. Right? Because
Why?
I'm lining up
Yes.
for an empty store where I'm going for a deal, and then I walk in there and there's no deal. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
It's
I
so
waited 10
time-consuming.
minutes.
Mhm.
Yeah, 10 minutes to get in there. Then I went and got my nails done, and it's just like everybody's in their masks and they're huddling around, and I'm like, all right, man, this is just not for me. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I'll do my own nails, I'll cut my own hair,
Yeah.
and I'll get my groceries delivered.
Like
But
the fear mongering, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable how it's
World
instilled
Health
in us.
Organization says not to wear masks unless you're treating somebody that's ill or elderly or compromised.
Mhm.
They say that. So why are employers forcing their servers to wear masks?
Yeah.
Or why? They're saying it's not.
Because they get shamed. That's why.
Shamed.
And this is the problem.
Yeah.
You got this pack mentality of people that, oh my God, you don't care about other people and you're going to kill somebody. It's they started it and now they can't fix it.
Yeah.
They can't fix it. Now we got to, okay, how do we don't want to look like jerks and assholes because we did all this and we can't admit that we're wrong because we're government. So now we got to just kind of just wean you back slowly into normal. Oh, we'll wait until we get the vaccine.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I was
right.
getting? You think we're going to get a vaccine?
Well, they're
They're going to make a vaccine and
Yeah.
it's not going to work and it's going to make more sick people and probably kill
you're gonna
a
get
bunch.
something
Do you
else.
think they already have one and they're not releasing it yet? Do you feel like they? I mean, you got the whole world. Every
Have they ever done a
scientist-
coronavirus vaccine? It'll never work. These things mutate, and I mean,
Yeah.
even the virus that's going around, as it goes and moves through population over a year to two, which takes about a year to two, it becomes weaker and weaker and weaker. By the time they come up with something, it's pointless.
It's
It's
already-
already pointless.
Yeah, it's already evolved into something
Right,
else.
but you know, when you read statements by Brian Pallister, it says, "Well, we're just going to keep doing this because we want to make sure the curve stays flat." Are you serious? You're going to keep the curve flat for the next 25 years?
Yeah.
Is that your solution? Because the curve, that whole idea of flattening the curve, that was in March.
Yeah.
We had already hit our peak of that pandemic at that point. And now to keep, keeping the borders closed, Justin Trudeau, like it's just stupidity,
Yeah.
right? And then you're just going to keep going with this and keep running with this because you're still back in March mentality because we're past that.
Yeah.
We're all past that. Now everybody is, I mean, look at the riots.
Yeah.
Everybody's wearing masks. It's just like the stupidest thing I've
Yeah,
ever
no,
seen.
they're all on top of each other.
And it's it's really just to disguise their identity more so than anything because it's nothing to do with protecting others.
But what's funny is 2 weeks ago the message was social distance, wear your mask, don't do anything. Now everybody's protesting, rioting, looting, and everybody's like, "Good for you, way to make a statement."
Right.
Like, did you forget that,
Yeah, that was 5
nobody is
minutes
social
ago.
distancing right
Yeah.
now? Like, fine, be a protester, that's fine, you have your right to do it. But if 2 weeks ago you were forcing people to not go to work, or you were shaming the protesters who were saying, "Let us open the economy again,"
Yes.
but now all the protesters that are literally like, on top of each other going bananas, there's no shaming to them.
Right.
They're okay. Somehow they are above this.
Mhm.
Like, that's the kind of things that drive me crazy, right? Has nothing to do with the protesting itself. Do that all you want. But don't change the message just because it's now convenient to your narrative. You know?
Right.
That's what makes me a little
Here's
bit
the next
nuts.
phase of the social programming that we're entering into. Did you notice that they now, we used to go onto YouTube or Google or anywhere and you would see those fixed COVID-19 messages? They're all gone. They're just like, okay, that's. Meanwhile, okay, then why are we still all doing this?
Yeah.
Why are we doing half capacity? Why are we,
I know.
we're moving on.
Yeah, it seems
right?
like old news.
It
Yeah,
is.
it does.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I was saying the other day. I was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, you guys remember COVID?"
Yeah.
Like, everybody was about COVID, and all of a sudden,
Yeah,
nobody.
I feel like it's 10% COVID now on my feeds.
Big time.
It's like 90% with the protesters. And
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah.
it's until the next thing happens, right? And like you said, we're just brainwashed by social media. So
Yeah.
whatever we mostly see is what becomes of importance.
Yeah, you got
Right?
it.
And
You got
every
it.
cause has its. So we're not trying to downgrade any cause here.
No, of course not.
But it's just like what gets upgraded is what we see.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we're quick to forget. But yet we're still handcuffed to having to mark out our floor,
Yeah.
Exactly.
having to put gaps between our sessions. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
this is
We have tenants fighting against each other because their lineups are blocking their
Yeah.
doorways, and I'm dealing with that everywhere. It's like
Yeah.
it's insane.
Like the narrative can change like this,
Yeah.
but
Uh-huh.
everybody in the world has to adapt, and it takes
Exactly,
time. It takes
yeah.
time. It takes weeks, sometimes
So
months. You can't just
what's the best approach here? Do we all just say chill out and let's just do what the government is saying, right? So I got a friend who she owns a couple gyms in California, and they're still on lockdown till September.
I know, right?
Are they going against
But
it?
they're opening up.
Yeah.
These gyms
And I
are
think
just
that's
opening
what
up.
everybody really should do, but try and get everybody on board. Because I mean, what
Yeah.
are they going to do? Throw everybody in jail, fine everybody, and I just wouldn't pay
And
the
do you
fine.
want to
I would
take
fight
that?
it.
But do you want to take that risk, right? Like it could be $100,000 fine. Like who wants
Yeah.
to take that risk of getting hit with that?
You got to take a stand.
You would, yeah.
You got to take a
You
stand.
got to
I
borrow me
guess,
some
eh?
money here, Darka. Yeah,
I
so I
would.
can take that stance.
I would go to court.
Yeah.
I'd fight it all the way.
Yeah.
Show me the science.
Yeah.
Back up your claims.
I wonder how.
Because you don't have it.
Well, speaking of the courts, like overwhelming the court system, right? So, or the healthcare system, I should say. That was one of the things that they threw at us. Well, we don't want to overwhelm, so just everybody don't do anything, right? Don't get sick.
Stay home so I can
Yeah.
do something.
And one of the points that I always say is 2 decades ago, even 3 decades ago now, we overwhelmed the healthcare system, and still today, because of obesity and heart disease. Lifestyle-related issues is the reason why we are overwhelmed. The whole healthcare is overwhelmed. I have friends who are nurses. They haven't even seen a COVID patient in the last 3 months. They don't even know what they look like. You know what I mean? But you go to the hospital, you know you're waiting hours to see a doctor because everybody around there is sick because of something that they've done to themselves, not because they've gotten this virus. You know what I
Correct.
mean? So again, it's just this message. What is important? Why can't we say this? Why can't we as a gym be like, stop being fat? That's really what it boils down to. Stop eating the worst food on the planet
And
do a
start
little bit
moving.
better.
Yeah.
Start moving,
Yeah.
and let's use that as a reason to not overwhelm the healthcare system.
Oh,
Why don't we say that? But we
Absolutely.
can't for some reason.
Yeah.
No.
So we have a question from the audience here. So Lori wants to know, just curious, then as to how does Manitoba have such low numbers in Quebec who didn't do much and did go back to work / school fast, and the numbers are out of control?
We're still, and we're okay. We're going to go back to numbers. We're going
Okay.
back to testing.
Okay.
Okay. And if you dig into how this is being tested, and there has been a paper out in Japan on this, they produce 80% false positives. How do we really know? I think the real measure is excess mortality. How many more people have died this time of year during this flu season as compared to previous years? And you're going to find anywhere around the world, the excess mortality is in line with severe influenza years like 2017, 18. That's your real measure, your real marker. I can't go based on these numbers at all. Yeah, I've got people that come in and they're barely sick at all, but they're positive, right? For most people, I would say even more than 99%. For anyone under 60, it barely affects them at all.
Yeah.
It's the and it's people with comorbidities that they have other things going on. Those are the ones that are even still in that 0.2% or whatever.
Yeah.
So why would Quebec? I don't know. That's a good question. Why are more people getting sick in Quebec than they are here? I don't even want to talk about numbers, but let's pretend that there are more people getting sick in Quebec than here. Well, what's their air quality like? What else? What do they got going on environmentally there? Do they have more people staying in? Do they have more people? You know what I mean?
A million variables.
We have more unhealthy people. It all comes down to everyone's immune system. I mean, we've been around for millions, like a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was that easy to kill us off, none
We'd
of
be
us
dead.
would be here today.
Yeah.
So it's not an easy answer because I don't buy the numbers. Number one, take a look at the excess mortality.
Yeah.
And what's sad about that, and I hate to say this too, is because lockdown has actually created more deaths than Rona. I call it Rona.
Yeah.
Than Rona itself. There are people that are diabetic. Who too afraid to go to the hospital. They put it off. They die in diabetic comas, isolated in their homes. People that are not being screened for cancer are not getting their treatments. They're all dying. Like I could go on and on. The suicides are through the roof. We're actually, if it came down to, we got to save people's lives and we got to care about other people. Well, then we're not doing that. We're actually making things worse. And every life matters. I'm
Yep.
not saying that we have to be very careful because they're immune compromised and they're vulnerable and then they need our help to protect them. But there's now we're talking about deaths in all age groups,
Yeah.
right across the board.
And you're right. As far as number manipulation, every side will manipulate the numbers to make it look like their narrative.
The more tests they do, the
It's
more
the
cases
worst.
you're going to have.
Yeah. I'm so sick and tired of numbers. Because they never matter. They can't because they're
They
always
don't.
wrong. And how do you really ever know?
Well, the PCR test that's being used is not even supposed to be used for clinical diagnosis at all.
Okay.
Anybody can look that up. That
Yeah.
if you understood how that test actually operates, not only that, they've never actually isolated this virus. They've never isolated it. If you remember back in December, they used to actually try and determine who had it in Wuhan with chest scans and temperatures. They didn't have a test to figure out. You got a fever? Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got COVID. They haul you kicking and screaming back to your apartment and throw you in there. It was insane. But
Yeah.
that's how they were determining their numbers.
Yeah.
They were checking temperatures. That's insane.
Yeah. Have you had your temperature checked for any reason for any
did.
business? Did
Yeah,
you?
we just went to the dentist. Yeah, and they did the scan, the
Yeah.
forehead scan. Yeah.
Yeah. I went and got some Botox yesterday, and she put a thing
That's
in my
why you
ear.
look a little younger today.
We're like 10 years younger. I'm actually 85 years old. Did you know that? Skin deep right here. These guys make me look 20 years younger.
Wow.
But yeah, she stuck a temperature in my ear.
thing. Yeah.
So I don't know. She said it was good to go, but I had to wear a mask.
Isn't that weird? You got to walk in,
And for a haircut,
right?
Yeah. So
don't you feel like cattle now?
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, there you
Yes.
go. The sheep
Yeah.
that we have become.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The dot standards.
Get in
Oh, you
line.
want
We
to
stand on
get
dots.
you want to get McDonald's? Beep. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And why did McDonald's have to reduce their menu? God damn it. I like some stuff from McDonald's. You guys, you're still serving. Come on. Just give me what I want. Just give me what I want.
It'd be nice to see some of these businesses go back to their regular hours too. I mean, I had a
Yeah.
friend of mine say
well,
that
this
they
guy
went,
was trying to get breakfast
Yeah.
today.
Nothing's
Yeah.
open early.
Yeah, see, that needs to go back to normal. Let's go back to that. Let's get to I had a friend of mine go to a pet store and their signage says that they're open till 9, but they never changed it.
Oh yeah.
Right? So he's knocking on the glass. Am I supposed to knock on the glass? He doesn't know. We're in COVID times, right? Maybe
Yeah.
I'm supposed to stand there and wait to be allowed in.
Yeah.
He sees customers in there, and then this guy comes up to the door with a mask, opens and unlocks, and says, "Yeah, no, we're closed." This is like literally 7:00. This is when they close. He was
Yeah.
just about ready to go drop $100 on some expensive bird food in there, and the guy's like, "No, you have to no." But your sign says you're open till 9. Yeah, we just didn't change it. Like, come on. You know
and
what
this
I mean?
is the frustration that's causing, and people
so
are going
now
to get
he's
very
never
angry.
going to go back there.
You know what? And that's a
So-
reminder. I got to change our hours because our hours change. Guys, our hours 5:15, 6 a.m., 6:45.
Yeah.
There you
We'll
go.
change our
Start.
website
Get back to
too,
your normal
so-
hours.
Did you change the website, Jerome?
We'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
thank
And
you.
and there's two sides to it. Like I have a business as well, and like the other day I had to put together an order of 50 T-shirts. I had to order from 3 different companies, 4 different brands, just to put together the most basic stuff, the most basic order.
Simple.
And I find that like I have to see customers for certain things to show them samples and whatnot. And they still have this mentality where, like, okay, well, I'm just going to come pick it up right now or whenever you want. It's like, nah, it doesn't work that way. Like, I can't even get the sample for you yet because I have to wait
Yeah.
until I can get it when they're open or when that rep is available to get it to me. So do you think that life will go back to normal quicker? Do you think people will forget, or do you think people will generate new habits based on this?
I think they'll generate new habits.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah.
Oh, big time. And
Do you think that's a bad thing, though? 'Cause
I
feel
do.
Yeah.
I do. I'm personally like seeing groups of people
Mm-hmm.
Me
out
too.
and about, getting
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, I do
You're
too, yeah.
standing in line, you talk, you make small talk, and
20
and that's
people
what,
in here is
but-
nice for 2 weeks.
But everybody's
You know what I
staying
mean?
in their homes and ordering
Mhm.
things.
Yeah.
I'm not cool with that.
I think the only thing that I want to see change is the like I hate when people start their conversation with how fast can you get this done for me?
Oh.
Like what? How fast does it need to be? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
can't you?
Yeah, I'm just
a little patient.
You know what? I wouldn't have tried to get it to you quicker.
Yeah.
No, but now that you said it,
You know?
yeah, I'm gonna try.
Like maybe just if people understood that not everything happens immediately, and we've been brainwashed to do it. Everything is immediate for us. Whatever you need, you can go to a store and grab
Yeah.
it. It's almost instantaneous.
Yeah.
I would really love to see that change. Of all the habits in the
you
world,
think that's going to change?
I don't.
Because when I was at my nail
I don't.
salon yesterday,
I don't.
like I love the Asians, right? The Asians, there's no
as hell.
whatever. They do whatever they want. I like that.
yeah.
You know, our appointment was at 2. I call, hey, I got an appointment at 2. Can we come at 2:30? Oh yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know who you are. But
Yeah.
show up. I'm like,
Yes.
right? And then people were
Very
showing up.
accommodating.
Yeah, people were showing up and they don't have appointments and they're just like, okay, you wait in line right there, right?
Yeah.
And then they kicked me out instantly after I'd done. I was like, she's like, okay,
You gotta go.
You go wait outside. She just goes like, you go wait outside. I'm like, all right.
All right.
okay. But there was people that showed up. I guess their appointment was supposed to be at 4 or whatever, and then they had to wait. And I hear these women, this woman outside. She's like, "This is going to be a problem if they're letting drop-ins come in." Blah blah blah. And I cranked my music. I said, "Ladies, you can dance in the meantime." Woo! I was in my car doing this. Woo! And she looked at me like,
Yeah.
Oh my
What an
gosh.
asshole. What an asshole.
No kidding, right? Trying to spread some sunshine.
Yeah, exactly.
Shut up.
This guy all smiling. What a jerk.
having
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
We should be following COVID rules.
Have
Don't
you noticed?
know we're in a pandemic?
Yeah. Have you noticed the negativity that everybody is just entitled to have now? You can
Yeah.
just be a bitch or an asshole, no problem. This is how
Absolutely.
you're expected to be.
I had somebody chew me out for not standing on the circle.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? I was going to freak right out on
Yeah.
her. This was in Safeway.
Yeah.
But she had a 2-year-old in a stroller, so I had to
yeah.
bite my tongue. I didn't want to traumatize the kid. But man, if that kid wasn't there, it would
Yeah.
have been a scene. Yeah.
But talk about enabling all the negative Nellies to just now spew their vomit out loud, and we're just supposed to take it.
Yeah.
You know, it
I
drives
know.
me bananas, man.
yeah.
Drives me
So
absolutely
what is it? Do
bananas.
we need to follow these rules or not?
I'm not following them.
You know what?
I don't stand on the circle. And by the way, I don't follow those arrows down the aisles
Yeah.
in the
Oh,
grocery
Darky, do we
store.
have to put arrows outside? Do we have to
No.
put X's?
I'm
There
putting
we
the
go.
furniture out pretty soon. Though.
Oh, good.
Oh,
I was
good.
actually at the
Yeah.
mall and I sat down in a single chair.
Yeah.
And I said, I love this. Like, my feet were hurting, man.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like, I
nice
want
to
to
sit.
get out of there quicker. Thank you for the chair. The one chair
Yeah.
that nobody touched. It was awesome.
Like you were obviously mandated to probably take the furniture out, or you were forced to, had to do it. So if you put it back, or why even? Take
I
it out
wasn't
the
mandated.
Yeah.
Oh, you
so
weren't.
Why'd
You
you do
just
it?
decided to do it.
Oh, I did it because I had a number of tenants freaking out about it.
Oh.
I would have left it up the whole time. I would have.
Yeah.
But because number one, I know a lot about viruses.
Mm-hmm.
I know they don't live. They don't jump around alive, and all of that is just nonsense.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so if you could just be responsible and not touch the couch and then stick your fingers in your mouth or lick things,
Yeah.
you know what? You're gonna be fine,
Yeah.
right?
And
But
even,
I mean,
even if you do, so what? You got a little bit of something in you now.
right?
You can build up
Yeah,
an immunity to it.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Eat
not
a little
bad
dirt.
thing.
Stop licking shit.
Yeah.
So
like
down.
an
And you know what the
escalator
thing I
race.
like about Darka too is
Yeah.
that she doesn't grease the squeaky wheel,
Go
right?
right to the point.
But no, I'm saying like people complain and this and then sometimes
Yeah.
you'll do it, sometimes you won't. You're not like, and it's just like us. We had somebody, can you do this now? And I want this now. We're like,
you should.
know what?
Well, we should have this and we
Yeah.
should have that.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
yeah.
we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, thank you for your opinion, but
I had
no,
a
that's
tenant.
not
I
gonna
had a
work.
tenant
Yeah.
that emailed me in another office building, and he's like, "Yeah, well, my staff are coming back June 8th, and we're going to start working in the office again, and we're all wondering, what kind of extra measures are you going to be doing about the cleaning?" I'm like, "Nothing.
Yeah.
The cleaning's always been the same."
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want us
Yeah.
to do?
But at this point, really? Like maybe that would make sense when we didn't know anything and the
Yeah.
data wasn't in. The data's
Yeah.
in now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but no, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
I was
just-
talking to somebody, they're a gym owner, and they want to put UV lights in their HVAC
What?
unit, and I said, I know what you're I know what you're earning,
Yeah.
right? Like, stop.
Oh my
you
God.
don't need to do that. Even just spraying, before we left, just to appease the masses, we were spraying this COVID spray everywhere, and I was coaching that last session, and I was like, my lungs
You're
were
going to get
dying.
sick.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Those
couldn't
chemicals.
breathe.
We're
Those
poisoning
strong
ourselves
chemicals.
now.
Forbid
Yeah.
I let out a cough while teaching a class. Like, guys, when I'm I got phlegm, man, and
Yeah.
there's gonna be a point where I'm gonna clear my throat.
Yeah, of course.
I'm gonna cough.
Coaches
or
have to.
I might sneeze.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Doesn't mean that you're gonna get COVID. You know what I mean? If we're back in the building,
Yeah.
everybody chill out. But some people
Yeah.
are gross. Like I said, I saw a guy. He just openly sneezed right next to me.
See, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's just gross regardless.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
have common sense.
12
I think a
months a
lot of
year.
people out of this.
Any other year.
Yeah, exactly.
Just don't do that.
Yeah. So just don't come and be your
Stop
gross self.
licking shit.
Right.
Yeah, stop
Right.
licking stuff.
Stop licking
being
coaches.
So gross.
And
out in
escalator
public.
rails.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're a singer in a band?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of went from a 4-piece band doing with the drummer and all that, and I'm doing that for a number of years. And I reached a point where I just don't want to do that anymore. We downsized to a trio, so we're doing restaurant lounges. Well, when that happens again,
Yeah.
because live entertainment's not allowed right now because
Yeah.
singers could be spreading COVID with their voice.
really?
You know?
Is that a
Oh
thing?
yeah.
Yeah.
I've-
Plus, you cut into their capacity now.
Well, it's
The 6
bizarre.
feet.
It's
How
bizarre.
do you run a
They-
band
they
6
act-
feet apart?
there's patios that want to have. There's all these restrictions. Like you would basically, I'd have to sit in a cubicle.
Yeah.
Like create a
With
cubicle.
the shield.
Or I think they said that you have to turn around and face the wall, so you're not facing the people.
God,
so you're not spread. See what I mean?
Jesus,
This is
yeah.
it's
Put a mask
absolute
on, singer.
nonsense. Yeah, right.
Put a mask on.
Yeah.
But it's all bullshit. That's based on zero science, and it's not accurate. It's not
Okay.
fact. It's just
So if
crap.
somebody speaks moistly, they won't get it? Is that
They-
what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
No, you
That's
can
good
speak
to know.
moistly.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
But
good
now,
to
if you're sick and you're going to sneeze and you're going to spray on everyone, there's a good chance you're going to give somebody something.
Yeah.
I mean, we all need to start being a little bit more responsible. And at the same time, like you said, like it's good for your immune system to be exposed and to get that practice. There's actually, the more you get sick, the stronger your immune system gets, and you actually be able to fight off bigger, greater, worse things in the
that's a good
future.
point.
Yeah.
We're doing things
And eat
wrong.
some goddamn peanuts, for God's sake. Enough with the peanut allergies.
Yeah, well,
Just
that
stick some peanut butter in the kid's mouth. Let's go. Like,
yeah, you could thank
Let me ask you
vaccines
this
for
as an
that.
entertainer. So we'll pivot off of the politics here. How do you snap? Like, you're passionate about it. You can get fired up just like I can too. But when it comes down to putting that mic in front and performing, how do you get the mindset of I'm a performer now? Like,
How do you switch from everything that you got going on to just put it on stage?
boom.
This is gonna sing soon.
First of all, I love what you're doing. Right, I get lost in it. So I go. It's almost like going into a different persona. I step up to the mic and I look around the crowd, and the songs that I do, I pick. Have to like them. I can't sing a song I hate.
Okay.
I can't be phony, right? I got to enjoy what I'm doing.
What's your favorite song to sing, or a couple of them?
Oh my God,
Just so
that's
we can
so hard.
get an idea of what you like to
Sample.
sing.
Oh, that's so hard.
No doubt.
I like doing Alanis Morissette. Yeah, I like doing Gwen, but I do like Alanis Morissette
Okay.
too.
How about Pink, the new stuff?
Yeah. But I do a lot of new stuff. Right, I stuck with the '90s mostly, but some new stuff. Yeah.
Isn't the '90s so good? Like I was just saying
To me, it's like the last best era.
I can go on and we play music here, right? And we're always trying to find that perfect mix. And the only perfect mix ever comes from the '90s.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't
I
find
love it.
anything new because it's either
It's been
rap
crap since
or it's EDM, like
Rap since
techno
2000s.
or rap. Those are my two options nowadays.
When was Kurt Cobain? When was his?
90s.
That was the 90s.
Yeah.
That wasn't the 2000s.
No.
It was '90s.
Oh, because I found like
Green Day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
because
the
I
90s.
don't enjoy any of that music.
Oh,
It's
really?
very
Yeah,
angry and
pretty much
depressing, and
The music
Yeah.
then was.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Kurt Cobain.
I consider that the last great era of
Yeah.
really good quality music that it came out, and then 9/11 happened, and everybody just like everything's just been shit since
yeah.
then.
I feel like we lost our cultural. What do you call it when you have culture based on like fashion and music and icons? I feel like the '90s was still a thing, and then after that, it was sort of like vanilla. I don't know. I don't even know how to
Just
describe the
recycled.
2000s.
I think
don't
there's
know.
just too many different genres now.
Yeah.
Right?
Is it
Like,
who's memorable out of the two?
Yeah, I
like
don't-
I mean that's just it.
Who is? Can
Bruno
we pick one?
Mars?
Bruno
So
Mars,
between
every-
2000
Everybody loves Bruno Mars. Doesn't matter what party you're at. You want to just play music? Just play Bruno Mars.
Was he
It's good.
was he between 01 and 09? The Bruno Mars?
Yeah.
Oh
he
yeah,
was.
yeah. He's a 2000s for sure.
Yeah,
But other than that, I don't know who else. Oh, Ed Sheeran. I think he goes.
he's okay.
Justin Bieber can probably
Oh,
pull it
jeez.
off now.
Yeah,
See, you don't like him, but you would listen to him. He's
You don't
that
like
one
the
that
Biebs?
you would secretly listen to with your windows up, and you'd get busted singing along. I know it.
you should
Darka.
hear what I listen to in my car.
Tell us.
Yeah.
Like that guy in Office Space when he's listening to that rap music,
Yeah.
killing people. And all this,
Yeah.
right? And he turns it down when that black guy comes up to us. I wouldn't turn it down, man. I would. But that's me. I'm listening to
Yeah.
killing people
Killing
and
people.
rap songs, and
Yeah.
I'm going to my 9 to 5 job.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
My tastes are varied. I love rock, rap, pop. I'm not a big fan of country, but I'll do some Shania Twain, 90s
Oh, yeah?
Shania Twain. Yeah.
Which one?
She's a legend.
The this what's that woman?
Feel like a woman.
Feel like a woman. Yeah, you sing that
Come on,
one?
Darka, give us some.
Actually, that's one song I don't like doing just because it's
Okay.
been overdone to death.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but
Let's go.
God, I can't even think when I'm trying to think of a title. It doesn't come to me. But
So
all the
are
other
you a
ones,
band for
yes.
hire? People hire you for different, or how does it work?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how it works.
Okay. And where do you
we have
normally
our
work?
connections. Well, I mean, I've played a number of rooms when we were doing the 4-piece. Jeffries, done the Powell, Mirrors. Like there's a circuit here that they
Okay.
all play.
Did you know that Rick used to own the Whiskey Dicks?
Oh, did you?
I used to be one of the owners there. Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever play for us?
No, not then.
No.
No.
Cool.
Yeah, you guys had bands there, and then it was something else after that,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, we started off with bands. I mean, we wanted to keep it a country vibe, and we had whiskey chicks that would dance, synchronized
Yeah,
dancing.
yeah.
And then it went to the DJ. The bands kind of went sideways.
Yeah.
The whole.
Well, it's costly. You got to pay these guys big bucks.
Yeah.
And,
Sure is,
and what's sad is if they see the dance floor clear when the band goes on and they all come running up for can music, then they're just not going to do that anymore.
Yeah,
right?
the EDM and the DJ was just breaking out then, and we had to shift with what everybody wanted, right?
Well, something what I was doing is the scene at the time for the number of years is they all play the same cover songs.
Always.
Summer '69, Jesse's Girl, the
yeah.
same crap, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that,
Yeah.
so that's why I went with this old '90s theme. I wanted to do songs that no one else was covering.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it went over huge everywhere that we played.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We
I've
should
had people go like, "Oh my God, can you do this too and this too?" And they're just like thrilled. Oh my God, I've never heard somebody cover that like that. That was the best part. For me.
Nice,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pumped to hear you play one day, whenever that.
Yeah,
is
we
allowed
want
again.
we want to do we want to do like a grand long week opening, like when they open it up a little bit more. Like
Sure.
having 20 people in here is just not like it just doesn't make any sense. But when we do have our big event, would you come down? And if we had like a band night,
Absolutely.
that'd
For
be
sure.
cool. That'd be very cool.
Final question before I leave. So we have a couple of open spaces in McIvor Mall. You're going to give us a little nugget at who our new neighbors might be?
Well, it's already
Can you
done.
tell us?
You might be able to get a manicure soon.
Yeah.
Right here.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that would be a great
I
business.
can't. And that's an office over there.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's private.
okay.
They won't even advertise who they are. It's
Okay.
that. It's really that.
All right,
on the
we're gonna
down low.
We're going to leave it at that. We appreciate you coming in, guys.
Thank you so much for having me.
Like, comment, and share this video. You can also go to our YouTube channel under Fit Club Media and subscribe to our channel. We're going to dance it out, Darka. We're almost done. Woo! Let's see your moves.
See your moves.
Let's see your moves. There it is.
Yeah.